Hello everyone, today we're going back to Tollingchester to check out the Market Day collection from Sarissa Precision. Alright, back in the streets of Tollingchester. The Market Day collection contains 3 buildings again, so the Tanner's House, Needle Street House, Cheapside House, the Croon's Corner shop front, shop and trade signs, market stalls, jettied bays and dormers, and a wooden balcony set. Again, we have QR code and instructions on the back and a substantial block of MDF. Okay, so a little flyer which I've learned about from before. Ooh, here's our full colour ready to assemble trade and guild signs, including apothecary, pawnbroker, bootmaker, blacksmith, wheelwright, fishmonger, butcher, baker, tavern and blank guild shield. But no candlestick maker. Shame. Shame. No assembly instructions on the back, for it is a tiny little sheet cut into a shape and like a weathered marble effect on it. Kind of funky. It is double-sided, unlike a lot of the other pieces that are only meant to be viewed from one side. But they have your various shop signage. I quite like that. Pawnbrokers everywhere. 3 big brass balls. Then we have our roof dormer, jetted bay windows, privy, cellar grills, which you can stick on wherever. There is a slight build guide on these. But you get, what's that, 1, 2 dormers, a nice jetted one. Oh, and a very fancy sign on this. Does it tell me that there's a fancy sign on this? It doesn't say that there's a fancy sign on it, however, there is, down here. Looks like somebody's screaming away. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But again, nice texture on the prints. And cut in such a way that they easily fall off the sprue. We have balconies, which are all in wood. And we also have the Market Day stalls and our Croon Corner shop front, which will fit on any of the houses 001 to 004. Here you can see the shop front for the crone. Maybe that's what the sign is for. A screaming old crone. Quite nice. And then we have our roof for the crone's front. And then we start to get our market stalls. Ah, no. So the coloured fabric top of the market stalls is printed on card rather than on thicker MDF, so it's very, it's not very thin, but it's much thinner. It won't look like you've got a block of wood on top of your stall. And also then you can fold it to drape it over. And then our stalls themselves, a couple of which are coming apart there. Very simple base, uprights and a crossbeam. So you can make 6 of those. And then we get into our buildings, which are similar to what we've seen before, with different textures on them. So rather than go through all of those, let's get them all built and we'll see what they look like when they're dusted. Okay, I'm back. I've built the market square. I thought I'd show you some of the parts that are loose, free and clear, shall we say. So I've built the market stalls. Take a look at those first. There are 6, and they're actually divided into 2 types. So you've got this one that has crossbeam, a flat, parallel, horizontal table, and there are 2 of those. And then there are 4 that have this sloped table with a little buttress at the front, just to stop your produce sliding off. So you've got 4 of these, 2 of these, 6 in total. The canopies are 3 different types in 2 different colours. So you can see we have yellow and red and blue and white. And then we also have triangular and I suppose pill-shaped or semicircular, whatever you want to call that. Easy to build. It is just 2 sides onto the table itself, and then once the table is affixed, you can then put the canopies on, so you can mix and match these whatever way you want. If I show you this, the front and back are proud, so they sort of float out a little. The cardboard itself needs to be bent. I put a ruler behind it, so I got a nice straight clean bend across. If you want to have it actually straight up and down, you'll need to glue it on. So I glued the top first and then used a dab of super glue to get these on. But doing that, it is a very tight fit and causes the front and back to be more noticeably bent, I suppose, carved, whatever you want to call it, distorted. So I don't mind the little flap sort of sitting out a bit. They're relatively cute, which is, you know, handy to have. Size-wise, if I just grab one of my wee measuring doohickeys. In case you're wondering, they are approximately 50mm high at the highest point, although obviously they slope, so 40 to the rear. And then they are roughly, what's that, almost 54mm wide, and about 38mm deep. So half a dozen of those. Obviously getting some little knickknacks to put on them is a good way of adding some interest to the tables themselves. And there are plenty of companies out there doing things like Iron Gate Scenery, people like that, where you can get bread and fish, meat, that sort of thing. Dunkeldorf have a lot of nice stuff as well from Denmark. Then we also have a couple of addendums. So these I have not yet put on anything. We have what appears to be a garderobe. Nice flat back, straight up and down, simple build. There are limited instructions with them, where it shows you what components go together to make it, but doesn't give you an order of build, which is fine for simple pieces like this, where you've got 3 sides and a base. For some of the buildings, the order of operations I think would be handy to have, so you could tell where these are going to go. These are currently spare, but they will find themselves on buildings in the future. I've already put some on. You do get a good amount of these, and they are textured all the way around, so your front can be reversed, and as you see, they've got the slanted upright in the same position on these, but if you were to flip that round, then it would change it up slightly, just if you're looking to add a bit of difference in your buildings. The last thing is the little double-sided sign for whatever it is, pub. Don't know what's on there. It looks like a woman screaming. That might be some sort of Rorschach test for me. However, those are the components that aren't being used currently on a building. So let's take a look at the buildings. Okay, starting things off then with Needle Street House. There are 2 buildings in the pack that have this same profile and size, although the texture is different. In this case, I've popped on the largest balcony that is available. I've also popped on little pawnbrokers balls there as well. Size-wise, this is approximately 85 millimeters square at the base, although it does flare out at the top, and then from bottom to top is approximately 220 mil high, and then the balcony itself is sufficiently large that if I bring in a Corporal Knobs for scale, you can get a 30 mil round on there. 40 mil square might be a tricky one, but you can definitely get a couple of 20 mils on there happily. Pop knobby down. Build itself easy. If I pop off the top, you will see the interior goes all the way down, and this is to obviously save space. So the steps come out of the interior platform. For other buildings, it's completely textured and intact. But for these ones, to save having to include another sheet and increase the cost, they come out of there. For Traitors Toll, it doesn't make a difference because these buildings are meant to be played around, not through. The steps themselves are quite cute. They can be attached to the building at any of the doors, either front on or off to one side like that, which gives you options. The other option with this one, if I just get the lid back on, is to add the crone corner, which is probably who that screaming street sign is. And the crone corner will fit on any of the buildings. So there's 4 different print types, if you think of them like this. Different print on them, but the same silhouette. And in this case, you can see some really nice detail with the wattle and daub and brickwork. And then this peculiar kink means you can just pop it onto the corner of the building. And it changes the footprint considerably, adding additional depth to it. Has a nice little smokestack there as well. This smokestack has to go there. The ones on the houses can be moved around a bit because there's no fixed location, but there's a tab for that one. So Needle Street House and the Crone's Corner, really nice little set. I believe there's also a blacksmith corner as well, done in a similar style. Could be added in, dropped off. Right. Up next. Okay then. So up next is the Tanley Inn house. Green finish on it. And wooden slats rather than tiles. Again, we have extra dormers and extensions that you can put wherever you want. Also has very nice print work on it. Both this and the Needle Street house have 2 doors. You get obviously 1 set of steps for each, but if you are covering the doors up using the Crone's corner, then what you can do is use both these steps onto the one building. So let's see if I can do that. So we can have that going on, or facing off in any direction you want, for that matter. They're quite handy to have, those little steps. But again, nice print work. Has a very fantasy-esque, it feels like it's something that's just come out of a Warhammer Fantasy roleplay, or again, Discworld. If I bring in our Corporal knobs for scale, you'll see he comes up to centre mark on that door. So regular humans, good size. Carrot, he'll have to duck. This is only right and proper. I'm looking forward to seeing the Traitor Toll actual miniatures in hand though for this. Again, build relatively straightforward. A lot of buttressing within it. I do find it's easier to glue the interior buttresses to the actual upper level, and then add the two layers of floor inside. And then once you have those attached to one side, then you can go around and do another side and then do another. They do suggest, well, they don't suggest, the build picture looks like make the two floors with the 8 buttresses and then put the walls on. I find it easier to have a wall holding the floors stable, otherwise the entire thing will move as you're trying to get it to glue. And then once that upper section is built, the base is very simple because it's perfectly square. You don't have to worry about the flares on it. So yes, and again, tons of potential for gameplay. And that crone's corner could go on this building just as easily as onto the needle one. They are all interchangeable in all respects. Our last building is the Cheapside house. This is a larger building, so the others were 220 mil. This is 245 mil tall. The base is what's that? 85 mil square around the bottom, and the bottom floor is 50 mil tall, so it's about 50 mil per level. So this is 3-story, or actually probably 4-story rather than the others, which are a 3-story affair. So a bit of height. Here I've included the corner gantry. You can see it just pops on and is supported by the exterior beams along with the buttresses. Gives a nice wide walkway to play on. You certainly could fit a 40 mil figure on that. There we go. Is there an ogre? Mr. Ogre. Oh, say that. It looks like it is 40 mil wide, not including the edge, so you can't fit a 40 mil base on it. My apologies. Not be able to fit on it though. Again, nice detail. You've got brickwork followed by herringbone brickwork followed by lathe work at the top with plaster over the top, and it's starting to come through in places. So there's just some really nice details on there. Got your red tiles on top, and again you can add those extra dormers just to change the silhouette and the outline of the building as you see fit. If you've seen the unboxing for the Rat House, this uses the same style as it, which means if you happen to have the Rat House bank front, you can go ahead and attach it in exactly the same way. Again, then there's the footsteps would go on there. And all of a sudden we have a very different building again. So yeah, I really like the increasing amount of buildings coming for Tollingchester, which will allow you to make some weird and wacky things. And if I flip this around, on the reverse you can see I've added the little culvert from the sewer. So you get 2 of those and you can just stick them wherever you want. And so there we are. That is 3 more buildings for Tollingchester and the Market Square. So there we go, some great new buildings and a whole ton of market stalls to clutter the streets and alleyways of Tollingchester and to give plenty of opportunity for people to pickpocket things and have to be hunted down by the guards of Traitors Toll. Another spanking example of the CYMK system from Sarissa. Really nice, bright poppy colours, sharp defined prints on them as well. Takes the pain out of terrain, I suppose. You can get it down on the tabletop in double quick fashion and get into your games. I'll be fascinated to see where else they go. We'll be revisiting Tollingchester again very soon. Let me know what you think. Until next time, bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.